Behind me is my 1997 80 Series Land Cruiser, and as of recent, I've undertaken a BMW M57 conversion with it, and we've finally made enough progress to be able to release a YouTube video. As you can see, we've done a lot more since the last episode. I don't want to show you guys too much just yet, but if you stay tuned for the rest of the episode, you'll see us do some fab work for the front mount intercooler, strip, shave and paint the engine bay, as well as drop the M57 back in and do some final little jobs before it's off to the auto spike. So I'm going to take you guys all the way back to after we finished our camping trip in Warwick, where we stripped the engine, stripped the car, and we'll kick off there. So I really want to pretend like I know what I'm looking at, but I actually have no idea. Picking up from last episode where we pulled the FZ out, it was actually in our camping trip. So if you want to see us pull the FZ out of the 80 series, go back and watch our Warwick camping trip that we went on. So in this episode, we'll be covering things like basic strip down of the wiring and the current engine bay situation. Then our paint prep, so sanding, priming, and then painting. We're going to try and do this on a budget because the rest of the conversion will not be on a budget. So we're trying to save money where we can. To be honest, the state of the engine bay is not that bad. Like the paint in it is pretty standard, like a little bit tired for a 30-year-old Land Cruiser, as you'd expect. You can just see how filthy it is from all the road grime and all the build up over the years. And let's just not look at this. This is disgusting. So I'm an absolute amateur when it comes to painting and doing any of this wiring stuff. I actually know nothing about 12 volt, like when it comes to camping and stuff like that. So nothing about wiring in general. I'm going to do my best to sort of take you through the process, and yeah, we'll learn as we go. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to get done this afternoon because it's currently 4 o'clock and I've received special instructions from the big boss, my grandmother, that I need to be inside for tea at 5. So we'll do what we can in the next hour, but we'll most likely pick up tomorrow and get cracking. This is literally the first time I've done any of the wiring in this 80 series. Like first time I've looked at it, first time, yeah, tried to pull it apart, and there is so much spaghetti. Like this is crazy. All right, if you want to know what the worst job is for a tall bloke like myself, getting under the dash of an 80 series. It also doesn't help that I've got this gazebo like absolutely just jammed up against the door. Trying to maneuver my way under here to disconnect the clutch and the brake. One of the worst jobs possible. Huge shout out to King Chrome. This tool absolutely saved me here. I'd be in trouble without King Chrome's tool set, I'll tell you that much. Anyway, a couple little more jobs in here until we're ready to start prepping it for the sanding and the paint. But this is what she's looking like. All right, so time's come. I'm about to absolutely drown this engine bay in degreaser in preparation to spray it all. I'm also gonna get in here with this tire brush, try and agitate it all a little bit. To be honest, I don't think I could have picked a worse week to want to paint my engine bay. The weather here is absolutely miserable. Like it was 4 degrees this morning when I woke up, and the high of today is about 11 degrees. But even still, we're on a time schedule, so we've got to do what we've got to do, and that's what we're doing. I've spent the better part of this morning basically taping off everything, masking for sanding and painting. For sanding, I've got a few different options here. We've got 2 5-sheet variety packs, so they go from 80 grit up to 320. And then I also have like a fine wet and dry 800 grit sandpaper. I'll be doing it on a block for the most part, just because the curvatures of the engine bay are a bit odd. Can't really get an orbital sander in there too easily, so we've got to work with what we've got here. Anyway, without further ado, time to get dirty, time to get sandy, and yeah, crack on with this thing. Sanding has to be the absolute worst job imaginable. I've been at this for hours. Sorry, I'm bloody squatting down here in the engine bay. Anyway, this is all bare metal now. So I've come through with some wax and grease, and now I'm gonna hit it with some rust converter, which is obviously a rust converter, but also acts like a primer as well. Now, I think my plans with this have changed a little bit just because the weather's supposed to be shocking for the rest of the week. And once that side's finished, I'll be taking the whole car back to Brizzy because hopefully the weather there will be better. Definitely gonna use the orbital sander as much as I can on this back wall and get a more abrasive sandpaper, because what I've got right now, this is just some stuff from Bunnings. It was like $7 for a 10 pack and it is absolutely shit. It's 80 grit as well, but it's doing nothing. Anyway, take it back to Brizzy and we'll finish it off there. So I'll see you then. So if you're following us on Instagram, you would have seen I put up a story a couple weeks ago now looking for a fabricator. So obviously with this M57 conversion, we're gonna need a whole bunch of stuff fabricated. For example, what we're doing today, which is the intercooler piping. We've got a whole bunch of parts down here that I picked up yesterday from Raceworks. These things are absolutely smick, and Harrison was like, well, if we're gonna build it properly, like we're gonna use Raceworks bits. So yeah, we've got all the nice stuff, we've got all the equipment. But first, what we're gonna do is we're gonna rip into pulling a couple things off of the M57. So we've got to pull off this intake what do you even call this? Intake butterfly flap thingy.
Butterfly valve.
Just because it's such a weird design from BMW, we're just going to cut this off and weld to it. And then same with the turbo inlet outlet thingy down the bottom where the intercooler plumbs up to it. I don't know all the technical words, but that doesn't matter. We're building cars, so.
Making things happen.
Exactly. Let's get into it.
Just intercooler piping is actually such an easy job. Once you like clue in where everything's going to go.
I was going to say, speak for yourself because I have no idea.
Can I get the intercooler and we'll get that slapped on? Don't get that bit in the video.
Bless you.
So then that one, we're going out like that, but obviously,
Oh,
let's go up and over, bro.
I was going to say, we should just run it up.
That'll
and
look
over.
hectic. Like, get artistic with it, man.
Now we're just doing a bit of arts and crafts to make sure everything lines up, and we're just going to sort of test fit it all.
It's technical stuff.
It is technical stuff.
This is going to be a fun angle to work out.
I mean, that's why I'm paying you to do it, because I'm not doing it.
Yeah, you see how excited I am?
Yeah.
So good. Oh shit, you have some earplugs, bro?
That is loud.
It was at a right resonance as well, where I was like, yeah, that'll do, bro. Yeah, that's going to be like pretty mint, eh?
Yeah, like the clearance on here is close, but it still clears.
Should clear. I think we're going to be pretty good. We might have to take a little bit more out of this. That looks so good, man. So now we've got that up and down clearance as that motor rotates. And we're going off-road. Like, you know, all of this, the whole structure of the car will kind of, to everything will flex. You know, this radiator support, like these move a little bit. This moves a little bit and that moves a little bit. So having that bit of wiggle room, it's pretty good. And we can retain that factory headlight. And that's going to come up. We've got a nice bit of clearance there. And then we'll do a 90 into here and come up into that somehow. So we got this side pretty well mocked up. We're pretty happy with that. We're gonna do a little kink here and we'll make that, square it all up and weld this one. So this one's pretty much done. We're just gonna leave that like that for the minute. This one, we're gonna bring it through. We're gonna come up over the hump and then in like that, some stupid stuff like that. This pipe is kind of the same size, so I can't slip it over. So what we'll do is we'll chop it about there and we'll then weld this, which will give us 10 more mil of movement, 10, 15 more mil of movement closer to the engine, more clearance. So yeah, a couple of things to go on. The joys of fitting motors into cars.
Motors that aren't supposed to go in cars, yeah. How's it stance on them? Holy shit.
Yeah, well, I don't have my nice little chair. That's that little tacked up. He's still hot as hell. Thanks, Cooper, for the helmet. Forgot mine.
So what we're doing now is we're getting started on the other side. So we're going to show you the process of sort of cutting and then bead rolling. And Harrison will explain in a minute what bead rolling is and why we have to do it with this intercooler piping. So we just made our first cut. So this is going to be on that side.
So we'll go in here like this.
Yep.
So we're going to go ahead and put a bead roll on this so that when we start making boost, we minimize everything pulling apart.
So essentially a bead roll is just a lip that the silicon flexes over and like you can put a tight clamp around the other side, isn't that right?
Yeah, just bead roller makes our nice little fancy lip rather than running a weld around there. So to put in there, close this bad boy down. Get a nice bit of tension on it. And we're gonna just like creep up on it and then just go for one single pass and make it all happen. So as you can see, it's starting to put a little roll into the piece of pipe.
Because you don't want to go too much, do you?
Don't want to go too much, especially on the alley pipes. It'll leave really big indents and you'll thin out the pipe. So we're just going to take it just enough. I mean, this is probably enough, but I prefer to be a little bit over than halfway up the beach, hitting full boost and then nothing. That's the scariest sound as well when it goes off.
Very cool.
Yeah, and then our hose clamp will go about here on the pipe. Obviously, the silicon drum will come up here somewhere.
Yeah, and again, we'll just route this one straight over the top and just...
Yeah, we're just going to run in like this. We're going for like that, you know, stacks vibe.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty hectic. Trend setting.
No bonnet. Well, this is how you make viral TikToks.
Yeah. Have you checked that this clears? The bonnet?
No.
Are you serious?
It will. It does actually clear.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Bro, that's high. Look how high that is. Like...
So I said to Billy from McKinnon's Cruisers, I said, it looks like we have a very high sitting motor. And he was like, out of all the conversions we've done, like 20 of these in an 80 series or 105, there's never been bonnet clearance issues. So we must have f***ed it pretty hard if there's going to be a clearance.
Oh, these are like his McKinnon Cruiser.
Yeah, these.
So did this line up to an exact position? Oh, the height and everything. But all you did was move it back and forth on the chassis.
Back and forth on the chassis rail. Well, if you look at the radiator, for example, here, look how high that sits compared to like the front, you know?
On this, oh yeah, look how high that radiator cap. All right. This is going to be really loud, bro. Yeah,
It's really
like
loud.
really loud.
Far out. Oh my goodness, this light is blinding me. I told Cooper to be here at 5:30 and it's 5:35. To be fair, we did have a bit of a rough night last night. I guess that's just how all the videos start, but we're out having a great time. And then we're like, oh, we got to pick up the car in Warwick today. And by that point, it was like 2 a.m. We're tired, but anyway, out here getting the chockies. Here he is. How are we? We've just arrived in Warwick. Pulled up to the farm now. As you can see, Cooper's backing in the big rig. Here she is. Mate, it's cold, isn't it? It's chilly. Oh, already having troubles. Not troubles, just... Oh. Why is it every time I pull the camera out, it's taking a piss? Every time I pull the camera out, you're taking a piss. Alright, so the cruiser's all loaded up. We also loaded up the gearbox and all the other spare parts that we need, because Cooper's actually going to be taking my old gearbox as spare parts for his Land Cruiser, and we're going to start the 2-hour road trip back home. You bastard. I gotta catch up. Little halftime interview, Cooper. How's she towing?
Going good. It's a little bit swayy, but I mean, I think we're at the 4.5 ton max GVM here, so it's going well. Every now and then it'll have a little bump and then the traction control will click on and it just straightens it up straight away. It's unbelievable. I love this car.
And we've also, we didn't show you on camera, but we've got a gearbox and a couple other little things in there, so she's pretty loaded up. And yeah, the Ram, mate, loves it.
4.5 ton, brother.
Today's going to be an absolutely jam-packed episode, doing a heap of maintenance to the M57 in preparation to put it into the 80 series, which is behind me here. Have a look at that. So we've got both of our brand new engine mounts in from McKinnon's Cruisers. As you can see, they're completely welded in. I've just gone over these chassis rails, engine mounts, shock towers and everything in just a couple coats of chassis black. Anyway, we're picking up this video a little bit of the way through because I already started to record, but my microphones weren't on. So I'll catch you up to speed on where we're at. So as you can see down on the floor there, that is our intake manifold. And as you can see up here, this is our motor without the intake manifold. I've just plugged up all the ports exactly the way that BMW intended me to. Literally just a few bolts that were holding it on. Had to disconnect a little bit of the EGR here, which is fine because that whole system's about to get removed anyways. If you're an engineer, the EGR is staying in there, don't worry. So the thing with these modern diesels and the EGRs is they create heaps of carbon buildup within the intake manifold. This one's not too bad, to be honest. There's definitely some cakeage going on there. So we're going to try and clean that up as much as we can. We're going to take the intake manifold outside, pressure wash it, get it all looking schmick. And I'll give you a little rundown on some of the maintenance parts we have for this M57. So I just got a fresh delivery from Ash at Fusion Fab. He sent out pretty much the rest of my parts here. We've got our complete CAN bus module in here. We've got a brand new billet radiator fitting. I don't know what the actual name for this is, but it sits on the side of the motor. We'll get to that. We've got our power steering relocation brackets. This is a new bit of kit from Ash. It basically just sits the power steering pump up a little bit higher on the motor to give you a bit more clearance, just to give you a little bit more clearance on your chassis rails. And then in here we have our DIY dump flange kit for the exhaust. I've got a genuine input shaft bearing for the gearbox. I have a aftermarket rear main seal, and then I also have an aftermarket sump pan gasket as well. Moving over to the jobs that I'm currently doing, we have our EGR delete kit, which I'll show you more of in a minute. And then we have our swell flap delete kit. Now, if you don't know, these M57 motors have a thing called swell flaps in the intake. Basically, they're these little plastic flaps that open and help regulate the air and whatnot going into the motor, except because they're plastic, over time they deteriorate and then they just your motor. So it's just a good maintenance thing to delete them. Funnily enough, when I pulled this intake manifold off, you can see somebody had a field day with the JB Weld. Somebody's already come through and deleted the swell flaps out of this thing, but it seems to be leaking, so I don't know if they've done a very good job. Anyway, we got lots to do, and this is going to be a how-to video. also just watching me do it. I'm not a mechanic, just a bloke with some tools and access to the internet, so we're gonna see what we can do here. All right, now I'm coming through to remove the EGR. If I got stuff on my face here, you can see it's because I went absolutely crazy on the other side with the compressor, just blowing all the soot and shit out of it, because that leak that I showed you from that intake manifold was just absolutely crazy. So there's just such a weird process with taking all the stuff off. Like, it's just connected in weird spots. Sick. Yeah. I don't know if you can hear that snap. It's violent. We got a T45 going down in here. That's some serious tension in there. And that top one wasn't even done up. Don't drop it, don't drop it, don't drop it. Fuck's sake. Money shot. There we go. That's our EGR out. So something that's often overlooked with these engine conversions is the positioning of the power steering pump, which is located right here. This doesn't apply to Land Cruisers normally, but when it comes to the patrol platforms, these power steering pumps like to brush up real hard against the chassis rail when you have them mounted. Now, when we test fitted this, there was plenty of clearance on the power steering pump. However, Fusion Fab has sent out their brand new power steering pump relocation kit. So we're gonna unbox some of these nice shiny billet parts and get them installed and relocate this power steering pump a little bit higher. Look at the size of that. These things are literally like a kilometer long. And there's our power steering pump. We'll quickly clean this up and then I'll show you the parts that we have from Fusion Fab. In this power steering relocation kit, there's two plates. There's a front plate and a rear plate. So we're gonna start with replacing the front plate, which is held together by 3 T45 Torx bolts. After we take those off, the whole thing should just pop off the front. So just like all of the other billet parts, this is made from 6061 billet aluminium, which has been CNC cut, and it looks absolutely bloody unreal. So this mounting bracket also comes with a little bit of hardware, so 3 new bolts to connect it back up to the pump. All right, those are all nipped up, so we can move on to the backside now. Let's first undo all of these Torx bolts. I was gonna do a really cool transition, but I cannot break this loose, so transition's not happening. And that's what the inside of a power steering pump looks like for anyone who has no idea, like myself. So while it is out, I am gonna have a little look inside and make sure it's all clean. There's no weird things like metal or some random shrapnel. So as you can see, the quality and precision from the Fusion Fab relocation kit is absolutely unreal. Everything's super precise and lined up straight away, and now we'll get it all fitted up to the motor. Holy serpentine belt, this thing, I'll tell you. I could not imagine doing that job while this motor's in the car. It's cooked. I'm just gonna make sure all of this is seated correctly. All of the grooves are in the grooves. All right, it looks good to me. All right, so now it's time to clean out the intake manifold. Now, as I showed you earlier, there's heaps of carbon buildup on this intake manifold. And basically what that does is just choke up the engine and not allow it to breathe how it should be. So anyway, there's a couple ways you can go about cleaning your intake manifolds. The best way to do it that I've heard is a thing called walnut blasting. Now, I haven't done too much research into it, but it can be pretty costly to do, as well as like, you obviously got to go to someone who has a walnut blaster. So it's not always a viable option. However, the second best option is this stuff right here. So all I have is some basic oven cleaner, and apparently this can do the trick just fine. What the f? What is going on? I think I got the wrong kind, to be honest. It's not foaming up how I thought it might. Oh well, all right, we're just gonna let that sit for a minute and then we'll come through and hose it out. So now I'm going to install the swirl flap delete from Fusion Fab Industries. We've got some blanking plates which go on the backside here, and also we have our new gaskets here as well. So we'll get some close-ups and show you how to do it, but it's super straightforward. There's a service history on the intake manifold. January, February, March, April, like service history. 2002, no, maybe not 2002, but 02, 03, 04, 05. Oh, that's the months. I'm an idiot. 08, 09. Yeah, so it was made in 08, but they must have done all this testing. Anyway, that's really random, but we're gonna pull these caps off now. God. Ah, I see what they've done. So basically, they've retained the original swirl flap and they've just taken the fin off of the end of it, like the actual flap itself. And because they did that, I think like they tried to reuse the same gasket and it just cooked it. That's why it was all leaky and stuff. So anyway, we're gonna fix that now. But it's interesting the way they've done that.
Fix it better.
We won't fix it, we'll make it better. So as you can see, this one here, that's our new swirl flap delete. And then this was our existing one, just absolutely mangled. I really don't know what they've done to make it look like that. And then I'm just gonna use the existing hardware and get it all nipped up. The thing to remember with this is that it's a plastic manifold, so don't go crazy when you nip it up. Like, it's very brittle and very soft. Boom, that easy. While we're here, may as well just finish this side off for you. So we'll grab our new seals. So this is our top seal going in to make sure it's even all the way around. Beautiful. And then our bottom circular seal going in. Sick. All right, we'll finish it off and we'll get back to you in a second. I'm just readjusting it so we get some good lighting, bruh. All the seals are on, and now we're gonna put it on here. I'm gonna snap my fingers and we're gonna be done. So now I've got an aftermarket direct replacement gasket, which is gonna go on. I'm also just gonna inspect the gasket to make sure everything's all good, which it seems to be fine. Now line it up where it's supposed to go. There's a couple of locating pins on this gasket, which makes it really easy to make sure it's in the right spot. Just confirming everything on the face of the sump is all good, all clean. Now that's all sitting there nicely. We'll nip up all these bolts and torque them down. That was a lot more simple than I thought to get that off. Reinstalling it is exactly the same. Again, just making sure all of our surfaces are nice and clean and prepped. That's obviously the general theme when you're doing maintenance to a motor. And this is our new aftermarket remain seal. Again, just check all the surfaces, make sure they're all good. There's a little locating dowel over in this corner, so line it up with that and that'll get you started. And that little white cap will pop off and that's your remain installed. It's that simple. All right, so starting to assemble the gearbox and the engine and get all the drivetrain in check before we put it in for the final time. And look what came in the mail. Ash just sent out his transfer case spline adapter, which obviously adapts the BMW gearbox spline, as you can see here, to our 80 series transfer case.
Now, mind you, we did clean the splines. Now, the one thing we noticed when we cleaned it, it was a bit dirty and greasy. So we cleaned that off all fresh so that we didn't have anything contaminating and getting in with the splines. So if it doesn't just do that, then you got other problems. I don't know how, you must have a shitload of power, but there's a possibility they could be twisted. If that's the case, bigger problems.
All right, we're finally assembling it for the last time. It's crashing out. Anyway, this is called a flex plate.
Anyways, flex plate, install. Matt gave it a little nice cleanup. You've got tabs here which locate your dowel pins. Make sure it seats back flush, and that's easy. Obviously these all are directional, so you can tell obviously this is the way that this one sits because the starter motor sits here, which is where there's the big gap here. That's on, and then the flywheel, sorry. So in this case, you can tell that obviously one side is raised and the other side is flat. We want to put it on the raised side to here, and you can see there's a locating pin dowel again. I don't know if you guys can tell, but these are all the same. There's two holes here, they're kind of irrelevant. This one here is a larger hole than all the rest. So obviously facing that with here, and it should just slide on. Now, it actually won't go any other way because of the design of it, which makes it kind of a fail-safe thing, but at least we know that that is on the right way. And then
the bolts are despawned
right here.
Yep.
Where I left them.
That's usually how it goes.
Every motor will be different, but there is a torque setting and a way that you need to torque these.
We don't know what it is.
We don't know what that is yet, but we're about to figure that out.
I did some extensive research on what I need some
That
extensive
consisted of about 2 minutes.
Yeah, okay, it was 2 minutes of research, and basically 3 different websites said that the torque spec is 121 newton meters for these flywheel bolts. So I'm going to trust the internet, and we're going to do it to 121 newton meters. I mean, that's sort of been the scenario for all of the bolts I've done on this car, just trusting the interwebs.
You can't really go wrong.
We'll see. This flywheel could enter orbit once I start the car, but who knows? I was going to say, what's the strategy for Loctite? I don't think it's that.
Normally when you open it, doesn't nut all over you. These aren't covered out.
Maybe you can't swear on YouTube. You don't get money.
That one got to 97. We got another 30-ish. 122.
Oh, over-talked. All right, we're just going to finish these off because it's really hard to film and do this all at the same time.
But you guys get the gist.
You get the idea. Loctite, 121 newton meters, and don't allow the motor to fall off the engine crane.
I've been thinking about your love tonight. Two hearts gonna make our worlds collide, baby. I just wanna be the one to treat you right. Two-step in me, baby, slide, slide.
We've been doing a little bit of sanding tonight. This weekend is we're trying to paint the engine bay. So I'm getting a little bit carried away now. It's very late, but we're gonna try and finish this back wall. We've already done the sides, the radiator support, pretty much everything else. Pretty much everything else. All that's left to do is the back wall. And as you can sort of see here, we've got a few X's going around. Those X's symbolize holes that we're going to fill up because we're going to shave the bays. Initially, this was going to be like a budget, sort of a budget engine bay repaint, but it really snowballed quite fast. So we were just like, fuck it, let's just shave the whole bay, paint it like really nicely with a proper spray gun. And we're going through all the effort with the motor, so may as well go through all the effort with the bay and make it look nice. We've finished sanding all the front radiator area. I've just left this unsanded for now, but I'm going to scuff it all up. Sanded all the side area, the rear wall, the firewall. So what we're going to do now is we're going to bust out the weld. So we're just going to get the welder now, and Cooper for the first time is going to start plugging some holes. Yeah, we're going to get the welder out, start plugging some of these holes. Should be pretty straightforward, to be fair. And we've marked off all the ones that need to go and
Go nuts.
go nuts plugging holes. This section here is about 1 to 2 mil thick, so it's pretty thin stuff. And when it comes to welding, for f***'s sake.
I was like, what the f*** is that, bro?
I'm actually going to lose it. I promise we're not alcoholics, but Bundaberg, if you'd like to sponsor us,
Please do.
please. We keep dropping the cans. Beautiful.
Actually turned out real good. We've gone over this side once, and we've gone and grinded all of them back, and then I've gone over it again, and any like imperfections I've touched up with the welder, we'll grind them black. That's the rum's getting to me, bro. Dude, just... Oh my god, stay up. And we'll grind them back and basically just make it look primo. We're gonna hit this at the end with a bit of bog. We'll show you what we're gonna end up using. We're gonna do a little bit of research and figure out what sort of bog we wanna use. Because obviously when you paint it, you're gonna see every little imperfection that you didn't fix. So I'm trying to fill it as much as I can with metal so that when we grind it back, we can bog it over and there's as minimal amount of bog as possible. If you try and take your time, we're in a bit of a time crunch, but we're gonna try and take our time as much as we can. If we can take our time and do it properly, it should turn out really good. As long as I'm not bogging up any holes that I think I've just bogged up.
Sweet.
No, I'm serious.
What?
Can you pull up your phone and see what holes I wasn't supposed to bog up?
We definitely did holes that we weren't supposed to do just then.
Turn that shit off.
All right, so this time around, it was a lot better. Now, I still made a mistake. I just cannot get the compound mixture correct. I think I'm definitely understanding how much hardener I need for the compound. So yeah, again, next time it'll be better. But I'll show you where we're up to. This is what it's looking like. We're just bogging up all those little imperfections that came out during the welding process. So I'm a lot happier with how this applied. I tried to clean up the edges as much as I could with the scraper in the process, but that's gonna be a lot nicer to sand than before. And yeah, my mixture, I cooked it. Like too much hardener. Again, too much hardener for the amount of bog that I had. It went real hard, real fast. So we're learning and we're gonna figure it out in the end.
This is more of an experimentation because we've never done this before. So we're gonna see what happens. Like I've had a few mates paint and stuff and have issues. I've kind of tried to follow as much of their advice as possible with what we're doing.
So the ratio that we think we're gonna go with is 2 to 1. So 2 parts paint, 1 part thinner. That's sort of what the bottle says and what ChatGPT kind of says. So we're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with that.
Don't tell them we're using ChatGPT.
We're gonna go with that and see what happens.
Yeah, we're just gonna use this. If it doesn't work, we'll just have to sand it all back, which will be no biggie.
No, there's no way.
But we're all testing it. So if we really have to sand it back, it is what it is. But I'm pretty confident that this is all gonna work.
Oh, all right.
Well, I don't really have anything else, and it's very hard in the bottom, so. Just liquid, bro. It's cooked.
There's no way that's right. Bro.
It's gotta be right.
Does it?
It says to the thing, bro. F off.
That looks like straight up milk, bro. The most professional gun for the most unprofessional person. All right, so this is what our panel looks like.
That'll do. I don't know what it's set at. We know we've got our pressures set correctly, but holy D's. Actually looks really good.
It does. Let's not get drips, hey?
Yeah. First time painting ever.
All right.
That was mid.
All right. All right. So there's definitely a couple spots that we need to go back over.
So yeah, you can see little holes here and there. This is a filler primer, but like again, I'm messing with the settings. I need to.
As you can see, there are a few imperfections in the paint.
Not in the paint, sorry, in the panel.
In the panel, yeah.
The paint's actually f***ing mint.
All right. The paint is actually really good. It's
Not
all
even
uniform.
glazing myself here. Like you can just see all the little spots, you know?
But there are definitely, like, for example, that's been bogged so nicely. Like, some of these are just absolutely mint. But yeah, we're not surprised that I'm gonna have to go over it again. Again, this is my first time bogging, his first time painting, so the combination is a bit average, but overall, this looks sick.
What we do from here is we let that dry. Now we're actually gonna like clean up and go to the pub. We're gonna let this dry overnight. We're gonna check back in it tomorrow. Matt will have a look at it. Like you should technically not even need to sand this, but we're gonna sand the bits that need to be bogged, bog over it, sand again, and then same process. The advantage of doing it this way is you can see what you're doing. Primer is one of those things where like you can really see what you need to then go over again and do. Matt is on his way to go and get some color. So we've got 1 liter of color at the moment, and we've realized we need a lot more when we're painting an entire engine bay. It feels like we're painting half the car. So we've used so far 2.5 liters of primer. We've been practicing and learning, so we've probably been using more than what we actually need. But yeah, we're just trying to get the basis of how the gun works. I'm trying to learn how the gun works and just a whole bunch of stuff. So as you can see, we are all primed. All of our parts are sweet. Just did the firewall. A lot of these parts like here, they're behind the guards, you never see it. We just wanted to do everything just to make sure that there wasn't any rust that was going to come through or nothing. Obviously we did some welding, so we had some exposed metal. By the way, I think I was adding too much thinner because I changed that. I put like thinner in that and it laid so good because I realized that this is designed for the base harder than thinner, and I've been putting the base and then just filling the rest with thinner.
Yeah, that is the issue, I would say.
But it's laid fine. It's just not much of a filler primer, it's more of just a primer. So the reason I have two guns, one gun I bought for primer and one gun I bought for base and clear. So primer, especially we're using a filler primer, you need a bigger nozzle, if that makes sense. So I think I've got a 2.5 mil nozzle so that it shoots, more material can come out and it can, you know, spread more of an area sort of thing. You get where I'm going. And then when you're shooting this stuff, you want it to come out thinner, you want it to be more clean. So you have a smaller nozzle and it shoots
more precisely.
More precisely in a sense. Alright, so my first time spraying a base color. So this is a little bit nerve-wracking. We're going to see how we go.
It's a bit hard to get up in there.
But like, you gotta think about it. You're looking at the, like literally you cannot see that unless you are like, your head will have to be here. Like, I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Alright, now it kills the shoulder.
So now we're up to the final stage of the painting process, which is applying the clear coat. Apparently it's the hardest part and the part that Cooper's most worried about. I too am also very worried about, because apparently it also runs very easily. So the same with the normal paint, we put the acrylic clear coat into the little mixer and then add a little bit of thinner in there as well. We'll check back in once it's all finished. So there you have it, the 80 series is finally complete and off to the Auto Sparky for its first installment of wiring. It's been an absolute mission, but now I can actually show you what we've done to the 80 series. For a first time doing a shade bay, I don't think Cooper and I did too bad of a job. It's definitely not an easy task and it takes a long time and a lot of patience. And as you saw, we finished off the intercooler piping, so the intercooler is all plumbed up. Just need to plumb up the radiator still, so I'll get some custom fab done for that. Brake boosters back in. All the wires are basically just sitting on top of the motor now. We've reassembled the front of the car, new bonnet because the old one got destroyed in a storm, so that'll have to get paint matched. So we're all loaded up on the car trailer and now we're headed off to the Auto Sparky, which is about an hour and a half away from here.